Okay, we're back.
Technical difficulties.
Alright.
Do we want a new conversation topic? How do we feel about like the diversity up here, like on campus, and like how?
I think that the diversity here on campus, I feel like everyone supports the diversity, but the diversity just isn't here. And I just feel like it's just a climate. It's just a climate and location like that a lot of people are just like, nah, that's too cold. I'm just not going. Like on my Snapchat, majority of the time, like if I was to post like how cold, like the weather, like the temperature, you know what people do in the morning, like Snapchat filter and put the temperature on the sticker. I mean the temperature sticker on your, Snap, whatever. They would slide up and be like, I know you're fucking lying. Like, no, how do you do it? And I just be like, it's really not that bad. It's just the wind like blowing on your face, and the wind gets into every crease and crevice.
Girl, what are you talking about?
The wind blowing.
How we get from diversity
to wind going
changing patterns? Like,
because I'm just describing like what the weather is like and like why people would be like, hell no, like I can't do it. Type of vibe. Or whatever. That's why I was like,
I did warn you when you came up here. I was like, the weather up here is totally different from Texas.
And I'm like, just like, this is why all the black people be like, fuck no, I can't do it.
I don't think so. I think that mostly has to do with where you're from.
Well, yeah.
Because I live on the East Coast and we have winter.
Yeah.
But I think everyone from up here is like, okay, like, I'm from up here, but I feel like a lot of black people just aren't up here in this area in general.
Well, it's because Vermont's one of the whitest states in America.
Okay.
Yeah.
That is a
yeah.
Point. Exactly.
Yeah.
That is a good point. So yeah, I think that, like she said, I agree with you. From wherever you come from, if you're just not used to the weather up here, then most people are just gonna be like, yeah, like I can't take it, and it'll be like a big thing for them. But if it's like something else that really like driving them to come here, then I think they'll stay. Like I think they would stay. I just think I think that now it's just that the school has so much going on within itself that it doesn't make people confident enough to want to come and stay. Because it's like, if y'all don't really know where y'all's future is, then like how can I leave my future in your hands as well? Like that's really what it is for me personally. And like talking to a lot of my friends from home, and just like when I explain like what be going on, they're just like, oh nah, cause if y'all change presidents like the seasons, then we can't do that, cause that means everything else beneath him is just constantly changing. Because with each top person, like each top person is gonna run something different. So if there's constant change in the system, that's at least not even like towards the students, like affecting us directly. That is just like, we know that if shit was to really hit the ceiling, like there hasn't been anyone here that has been sitting up there, been keeping up with what's going on, and at least has some type of like history of even running things up here and knowing how things are and having a solid system. Like we don't have a solid system. Our system is always changing. And with some people's parents academically, that can be a big thing as well. Or whatever. So yeah. What do you guys think about the school opinion?
Girl, you rattle off so much.
I'm just a yapper. Like,
that's okay.
I'm definitely just a yapper. Because we'll go from, I'll tell you why they probably wouldn't come here, and I'll tell you like, all right, then we talk about the diversity of the campus in general. But then again, like you said, Vermont is one of the whitest states, so like, again, you're not just gonna find like people gravitating towards here. But I'm glad that like the African Americans, the people of color that are here, that it's cool. Like it's cool, whatever, because we know that the people actually would support us like they would support us back home, or whatever. With like more black people being surrounded by more of like people of your color. So personally, for me, like it's not much a big of a difference. I'll even say that the people here are a bit more like helpful and like giving and just I would say they're nice, like Vermonters are nice people or whatever. I just think that okay, Vermonters are nice people. Because I was like, oh, I'm finna go into something else.
Like usually.
Yes. I can But it's funny because when I'm in my room, I don't say anything when I'm in my room unless I'm laughing at like a TikTok or
I
like
never know when you're in
an
your room.
Instagram.
Unless you're with somebody.
I'm barely there. Like I'm starting to be in my room more because
Derailing.
yeah.
Derailing.
Right. Yes, but all right.
Back to diversity.
Back to diversity.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously there's just like no diversity on our campus for the most part, but I think that's mostly to do with our programs that we have, and you know our big ones like the communications major and journalism. Do we have journalism?
Yeah.
Like OEL and
Yeah.
MBI and stuff like that. Like those are all our big programs, but realistically, Black people look at that and they're like, "That's white shit." Like,
that's white people
not,
shit. Like,
and because of that, like that's why we don't have the diversity. And like, cause I'm the only Black. I'm like one of two Black people in my major, and I'm the only Black woman
out of like everyone.
Out of everybody in the major. Yeah.
So it's just, I think it's mostly like how Black people in general, how things are engraved into us about like, oh, things that we can do and things we can't do. Like, I'm the only person who goes in the outdoors in my family, and they're like,
right,
that's white people stuff. You're going out in the woods.
Dang.
That's dangerous.
I'm like, outside not even that bad. Like I'll tell my grandmother that like, all right, I'm finna go outside, or I'll tell her like, hey, I'm finna go sit in my tree or something. She'd be like, what? Where are you going? Why are you going to sit in the tree? I'd be like, bruh, I just want to chill outside. Like, that's
well, like
literally...
I can understand why, like they're so hesitant about it because of our history and us being in the woods
actually thought about
has never been a safe place for us. So it's really hard to starting to create that safe space for people of color, especially Black people, because they just feel like they don't belong there in general. But I think when it comes to inclusivity right now, I think it's kind of a struggle because our school is kind of inclusive, but it's not at the same time.
Because like I think like once everyone like find their people, like they find their people. But I think since a lot of the people of color that do go here aren't from here, that the people that are from here naturally gravitate towards each other. So then it's kind of like you're low-key like an outsider, but you're still included because you're welcome to the events. But then you don't feel as welcome to go to the events because, well, as you don't want to go to these events as much simply because you know like, oh, like people that are gonna be, I'm not really gonna know anyone there because everyone that already like knows each other already like clicked up. So I can't really like, I'm not gonna like try to squeeze my way in between like, you know, anyone's like friendships or like friend groups or whatever. So I think I agree with you on that point for sure.
Yeah, it's very hard to try to find your people here if you are a person of color because you just feel like no one else kind of like understands you and like your background and why you are like this. And some people do try to understand, but most people say that they do understand, and then
thinking
they're just
that
like,
they understand.
They're like, I don't really care.
Right.
And,
it's just like, like a lot of it like be like scripted, you know, like a lot of scripted, like okay, like
they're like, okay, you do you.
Yeah. Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
So,
or if you say something, they'll just be like, oh, okay.
Yeah, and just like kind of like just give you that dead. They'll be like, knowing they have like no clue like of what you're like talking about at all, or don't even like try to like indicate that they don't know to like ask, because like a lot of stuff up here like that I don't know about, I'll ask about because majority of the people up here are from around here anyways, so of course they would know and they can like tell me or whatever, and I would think like the same, that like, oh, you know, like I'm not from here, I'm not from like around here. It's like if you want to know about something that's like not from around here or from somewhere like in my area, like I could probably tell you or give you like my experience on it, just like they can do for me. So yeah, I definitely would say that the activities are one thing, and I think that like we have, like okay.
I was like, okay.
Look, the sports are ass low key, but I feel like they have potential to be good. And I feel like they have potential to be good because if they gave out more like resources that we didn't have to go and get on our like own to go find were available, then the financial thing plays a big part as well, because we are paying, or at least like out of state is around 40,000 to go here for a school year. So
Not for me.
I was gonna be like, wait.
Girl, what are you talking about?
I'm paying
from
40.
out of state.
I'm paying 40K.
You're paying 40K.
They
Like,
scamming you.
That's just like
I'm
with
pretty sure it's only like 25K.
It should be 20. It should be like 20, 25.
like because for you guys, I thought in-state was around like 20.
Girl,
I'm not
from
in
here.
state.
Okay, when I say in-state, I mean people
in-state-
around here.
In-state is like 15,000. They're like, I think they're like 18
They're
to
like
20.
they're more like between like 10 to 20. We're in like 20 to 25ish.
Yeah.
Like without their scholarships, my tuition is around 34 to 37,000.
Is that all year or is that just semester?
That's all year. So
Okay,
like
so
each
that makes
semester is
more
around
sense.
20,000.
Yeah.
Or whatever. That's why
I feel
like
like you
my,
still getting scammed.
I definitely think I was scammed. They could have gave me more money. Like that's just the end of the statement. Like I feel like they just weren't trying to like cover all of my
Girl, there's
schooling.
something on your
Alright,
Like,
derail.
They have
Derail.
oh
back.
anyways.
Go back.
But yeah, I definitely feel like the financial thing is a big part because since there aren't a lot of people of color from around this area, that means that they're going to be paying those out-of-state fees, and since those out-of-state fees are so much, that scares and pushes a lot of them away because they're like, I can literally pay that amount to go to a school, to go to a D1, a big D1, D2 university, and get a completely different experience and be closer to home and have all these other benefits that they could have, and that they could have staying back home paying the same amount that they would to be afar with less benefits. So it's like pay more with less benefits or pay the same with more benefits. There people are always going to go with more benefits, especially in the community of people of color, because there's just this natural minority struggle there. Big thing with finances, so that's where they're just gonna go where it's best for them financially, and where they won't have hardship with it. So I think that plays a big role in why the school just isn't as diverse as it could be.
Yeah.
Like if I was paying 20,000 a year, that would be cool, and I'm pretty sure that like a lot more other people. I think I said that right. A lot more other people.
A lot of other people
would definitely be more welcome, and this school would be more so on their list for the simple fact that it offers and it has, as far as cost, the same amount as some community colleges back home. That is just cheaper. So, in other words,
I mean, compared to other out-of-state schools, even like some in-state schools, this is probably the cheapest you'll get. So
yeah,
it's mostly like a gamble because there's no inclusivity on this campus. That's mostly the reason why nobody wants to stay on this campus.
right.
You're just like constantly surrounded by a bunch of white people. And then
I
it could
will
be
say, all of my friends that like went to college before I did, all my older friends, they would talk about how like diverse their campus was, so many different people. All their pictures are like, you see people of like every shade of like everything, super diverse. And then I came up here and there was like a handful of like.
No,
literally, like
there's
it's literally
maybe
you
two
can
handfuls.
probably
There's like a handful.
you can
of,
literally
like,
count them
diversity
on your
up here.
hand.
And I'm like, what is going
You can
on?
literally count them on your hand.
Yeah, I say
Maybe like
we're
you would
mostly-
not use more than 2 hands.
Yeah, no, you would not use more than 2
I
hands
would
on this
say
entire
we're
campus.
mostly diverse when it comes to like LGBTQ.
Yeah,
Yes.
like
But,
sexuality wise,
yeah.
we're diverse, but
But
like
when it comes to-
race wise and
we're
everything,
not.
it's not diverse at all up here.
That's actually crazy.
It is.
Yeah,
I-
I think it's mostly because the school, like before this year, they never really put a big emphasis on getting people of color here.
Mm-hmm.
Like
yeah.
this is like last year during Black History Month, they didn't send out an email until the last day of Black History Month.
Oh my god.
The last one.
And I think it also doesn't help that Vermont State doesn't advertise to like everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like they advertise to like New Hampshire, Maine. Pretty
Which
much
are
New
the
England.
other two
Yeah.
whitest
Yeah, I was
states in
gonna say
America.
pretty much it's just New England, which is majority white, which is why we don't get as much diversity because they're not. Because like you get ads from like, I've gotten ads from colleges in Texas, honestly.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
But I'm sure you probably never got an ad from Vermont State. Like
Definitely not. The way that I even found out about this school coming away from
it's always
Texas.
a fever dream on how you find out about the school.
Facts. It was literally because the basketball coach had reached out to me through the NCSA. It's the National Student College Athlete Association, and from my account on there, he reached out to me and sent the email and was saying that he was interested for me to come play here. Mind you, before that email, I had no clue that Vermont even existed. Like, I did not know Vermont was a state. I didn't know that where it was on the map.
Well,
Like,
I think that's just a.
I think that's
I
just
think
a
that's
you
just
problem.
I think
I
that
think
is
that's just a
definitely-
Texas problem that they didn't teach you.
Because if I said that, when I talk to like any of my like mentors back home, they know where Vermont is. So
Yeah.
if I say like, oh, like like, oh, I'm over Vermont, like, oh, Vermont, okay, I'm just like,
Well, it's because Vermont's mostly known for like skiing and snowboarding.
Mhm.
Like that's the one thing
those are
people come
expensive
here to
places.
do, and realistically, most of the time that is white people because
Mhm.
in history, black people just can't afford things to do like that,
Yeah.
and then they were also shamed for doing things like that.
So it's like I can't even win. Like I can't. I'm too broke, and then when I'm not broke, I get bullied for it. So I'm gonna just leave it alone altogether.
Exactly.
Like that's what it.
And that's why we're constantly stuck in this mindset of we stick to the things that we know how to do.
And I'm just like, nah. What's that over there? I'm jumping in because it's fun, like just being outside, like, and everything that like back home where a lot of like some of my like friends or like people that I knew, their like form of fun is not the same as like Vermont's definition of fun, because Vermont's definition of fun is being outside. Point blank period. Like there's nothing else to me there's really nothing else to do besides like little small like, you know, casual activities and big outside activities. Like that's really like all that I see for when it comes to like fun stuff to do, and being outside is something I like to do. There's always something to do in the water. There's always something to do with the trees, something green. Like I love trees, and Vermont is nothing but trees. So, you know, like, but if you go back home, like they gonna tell you, yeah, like, are we going to the hookah bar this weekend? Like, are we going, like,
that's what.
no, I do not want to go blow no
like,
cherry spliff off this rock. No, I'm not. I don't want to do that. I want to go
get drunk. Want to go smoke weed. Like that's mostly it. Like we don't
that's-
really have like activities that we can do.
Right.
That's not
Exactly.
like basketball or doing drugs.
And I think
like-
hookahs are weird anyway. Like if somebody offered me a hookah and was like, yeah, this is like that blue raspberry style, I'm like, nah. And I'll pull out my blue raspberry vape and just hit it and be like,
All right.
it's completely
What are
different.
you talking about now?
It's like it's completely different. how like hookahs are not good, but we can cut that out. That was just like a random.
I'm gonna cut that whole segment
That was
out.
like
I don't
a
think Carrie
random.
would appreciate
Like
that.
we can just talk and just like cut as low, you know.
You're doing too much.
We could just.
What are we at?
I'm still trying to like keep it like cozy, but like not too professional.
33 minutes.
Okay, that's enough. Okay, let's
Okay,
wrap it up.
you think we're about ready to wrap
Yeah,
up?
I think
Okay,
30
so what's
minutes.
next month? We still
Okay.
haven't thought about
Women's History Month.
Women's History
I
Month.
thought this was Women's History Month. as
Girl.
well.
This is
No.
Black History Month. Next month is
It's
Women's History Month.
And
And
then
the month after,
I think it's Pacific Island, Asia and Pacific Island.
something like that. But
And when is Pride Month? That's in June.
I
Yeah.
think so. But I was thinking we don't necessarily have to do it based on what month it is. We can talk about like the major ones. So we could do Pride Month
Yeah,
after Women's History Month.
yeah, that's cool. I could have sworn there was like another like February was two things. Like it was Black History Month and something else, but I couldn't remember what it was.
Nope. No, I don't think so.
Okay, well,
All right. Well,
all right, guys.
we'll be back next month to talk about Women's History Month.
Yes, and just what does it mean to be a woman?
A lot of things.
No, seriously.
That's gonna be
women's-
that's gonna be an interesting podcast.
Yeah, women's struggles,
What
our
is
experiences. I'll definitely share some womanly stories of freaking
Seriously, that's gonna
Did
be
we?
an hour podcast.
Yeah, for real.
And so yeah, tune back in with us. So yeah, I am Brianna,
I'm Paige.
and our special guest today is
Annie.
Thanks for tuning into PB&J. See you guys next month.
All right, God. Oh, that almost